Ars Libri is an everyman's journey, book by book, through Western literature. We read, retell, and reclaim our rich heritage.
We were discussing how technology saps romance out of life.
Okay.
And how it affects storytelling.
Oh, yes.
And the romance found in the greatest stories would immediately be entirely eliminated by adding in cell phones and social media.
Okay. I think other people have talked about this before, so this idea isn't original to me. But I've often thought about how people know things. That's how it comes to me. How do you know things today? You know them because you look it up. And long ago, you knew things because someone told you. And that someone had to be physically in front of you.
Yeah, everyone knows that old, the saying of like, I learned this from my grandmother. And she learned it from her grandmother.
Yeah. Knowledge was passed down for generations and generations. I see this in Lord of the Rings, for instance. So this discussion, by the way, is a literary discussion. But it's literature as a way of looking at the world today. Basically, literature compared to the world today. And I guess my thesis, my idea here is that I don't know if there's ever going to be really good literature written ever again. Or at least extremely rarely, like even more rarely than good literature normally is written throughout history, because of technology and the way we experience the world today. All high romance would be killed by the cell phone, because romance deals with mystery, unknown. But cell phones, AI, Google, the internet, social media, nothing is unknown. You know what the mountain trail is before you go walk it. It's not a mystery. You have alltrails.com to tell you 10,000 reviews, and you can watch people walk it before you, and so it's all known. Whereas in the old world, you didn't know, and so everything was new and fresh and exciting and dangerous, mysterious, enchanted. And that's how relationships were. That's how life was, the whole of life.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like sending a husband off to war, and all you have to rely on are maybe an occasional letter.
Right. And so what happens, the human being, like our souls, had to undergo stress and loss and hope and fulfillment in ways that we don't today, because there's nothing. So for instance, we talked about this, Ellen's America, the book that we reviewed a few episodes ago. One major element in the story was these Swedes were in America in the 1600s, and they were waiting on some of their family to come. Throughout the entire story, they're waiting on Axel to come, and one of the boys who lived there was waiting on his sweetheart to show up too on the next ship. And a ship came, and another ship came, and it wasn't their ship, and it wasn't their. And every time they hear that a ship is coming, and they all drop what they're doing and get in the boat and paddle down the river and go find and see, oh, it's not the Swedish ship. So the hopes that these people have, and the fears, the longing, the loss, but then the fulfillment at the end, that entire storyline wouldn't exist if cell phones had existed back then, because you can just text each other. You can text your cousin, your brother, your girlfriend, your fiance, when are you coming? Oh, it's delayed, we're weather delayed, my flight's connecting here, we'll be in at 3. How boring is that? Completely unromantic, and that's the whole story is gone, is gutted. People who are growing up on a farm and they don't know how to do stuff, and they just don't know. If you don't know, you have to have the lamefoot Indian medicine lady come around and teach you how to use herbs, whereas today, you can just take a picture of the herb and ask AI, hey, is this safe for me? What will this do? Hey, my foot is cut from a snake bite or something. What do I do? And it'll tell you. So there's nobody really helping each other. It's impersonal. And not just that, it's boring. And so many stories of the old world that are good stories, I don't think they could exist today in the age of AI, internet, Google, cell phone, social media, data phones. where we can just acquire knowledge. So for instance, I'll give just go through a bunch of examples of this. The Count of Monte Cristo, he gets taken as prisoner. He doesn't even know where he is. He doesn't know what happened to, Mercedes. And it's all a mystery. And he has to figure it out. He has to find this treasure. Everything is wonderful and dangerous. The whole plot unfolds through concealment, changing identities, which today it's extremely hard to do that because of social media. Everybody knows where everybody is at every single time. Their work history, you can find it, you can document it, everything. Where's Mercedes? Oh, she has an Instagram. There she is. Right. How boring is that? There's no story. There's no Count of Monte Cristo. Another one is Dante's writings with Beatrice, where he meets her when he's young and then he loses her throughout life eventually, and she's just this angelic fairy figure in his mind who leads him to heaven ultimately. In reality, she's got an Instagram TikTok where she's showing everything that she ate today. And she's just some normal chick. She's a normal 7 today. That's it. That's what she is. And there's 10,000 guys who are texting her all the time to fly her out to Dubai. And she's no longer this special woman. She's just some common woman, probably wearing bikinis on the beach. I'm not saying I don't want to throw down Beatrice here. I'm just saying you don't have anybody writing about a woman like Beatrice today. I don't know if anybody will ever again write a novel about a woman on the level of Beatrice. This angelic divinity almost. She's so beautiful and amazing to this boy. And this boy thinks of a woman like that. Do any males today think of women like that today? Why not? Because you see all of them all the time on social media, and it dethrones the mystery of women. It dethrones their specialness, their enchantment, their allure. Everything's just boring and known. It's all known. There's nothing unknown.
That's also the difference between skirts and leggings.
Wow. Everything's known. It's not a mystery. It's boring at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, wow. Lord of the Rings is like this. I've thought about this so much. How things are known in Lord of the Rings is basically you have to find someone who was there 3,000 years ago, Elrond.
Wow.
I was there at the battle 3,000 years ago.
And he has a moon map.
A moon map. This map, that's right. You can't Google map where the entrance to the caves of Moria or the mines of Moria are. You have to figure it out, or Lonely Mountain or something. You have to figure it out through this mystery, this detective process, finding people who have special knowledge, getting them in the right mood to answer your questions. And then you go on this march like the Hobbit. They walk and they don't know exactly where they're going. It's also dangerous. They run into some cave trolls. That was my experience when I lived in Italy. I lived in Italy in the early 2000s, just before or just as cell phones were coming, data phones were coming about. Wandering through the Alps without a data phone was magical. I'm not kidding. I'm not looking back on it nostalgically. It was magical at the time. I distinctly remember thinking, I'm in Wonderland. How to get from where I was into the Alps was easy because I could see them and they were right there. But going over the mountains, going under the mountains through tunnels, going through valleys, winding around, opening up to some new... I remember the first time I went to a place called Tremonti in Italy. Of course, it had been discovered. It had been charted and everything. But to me, it was the first time I'd ever been there. We just happened upon it. It's this winding valley through the Alps that follows a river and opens up to a lake with crystal clear blue lagoon water and mountains all around it. And my friends and I were driving a BMW that had a sunroof. And I remember standing up the top of the sunroof, this was in the summer, as my friend is driving the car through the valley, and I'm at the top and we're just screaming because it was so amazing. I remember getting lost in Spain and not knowing how to get back to where we were staying. And it took us all day to get back, and it was an adventure. I remember one time we were trying to get into Austria from Italy, but the roads were blocked, so we decided to go over the mountain instead of around it. The way you go from Italy, the plains of Italy, through the Alps is usually through valleys or through tunnels. but there are some ways you can drive over the Alps. So my friends and I, we had a truck. At night in the winter, we lay down in the back of the truck and drove over the Alps. And I remember that drive full of not knowing where we were going and not knowing how to get there and if we were on the right road, and just watching the trees and the stars and the mountain peaks fly past you as you drove through the Alps, and not having this map that told me everything was beautiful and wonderful. What I'm trying to say is, before the internet, before cell phones, you didn't know things and you had to discover them. And the discovery process made the world seem filled with enchantment, magic, mystery, wonder, allure. There was something mesmerizing about it, and it drew you. There was a romance to life.
That's all for the free portion of this bonus episode. If you'd like to listen to the rest, you can do so by becoming a paid subscriber at arslibri.substack.com. You'll unlock all our bonus episodes, including the Plutarch series and the Literary Theory series. You'll also get extensive book lists and have the satisfaction of supporting the show.